Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to this beautiful game of StarCraft 2. In the top right, as our blue Terran player playing for Team Liquid, it's going to be Clem. In the bottom left, we have world's most beautiful player in all of StarCraft 2. In the red colors playing for Shopify Rebellion, his name starts with an H and ends with Harstem. You guessed right, it is Harstem. Over here with a weird chrono boosting pattern and a very fast scout out on the map. Now, I wouldn't want to guess on what he's doing, but I do believe that this most likely is going to be a cannon rush, but unlucky for Harstem here, he's going to get spotted straight away by this SCV. Because this SCV wanted to go for an eBay block. Clem is going to... Harstem just walking straight through vision here. He's like, alright, I've been scouted, I don't need to hide no more. We've been figured out, boys. We've been spotted. We've absolutely been spotted, and Clem right now... Not so sure if he knows what's going on. I think he might have a clue as to what's going on. Yeah, okay, now he definitely knows what's going on. Starts patrolling. Doesn't seem to quite know where that initial cannon can be placed, though. Harstem immediately starts attacking that SCV, but with a full wall done already. This seems like a bad situation for the Dutch protoss player, who has been cheesing an awful lot as of late, but not with great success. Probe's going to get taken out as well, as Clem with some fantastic early game, yeah, honestly... like just some magical powers. He can predict the future. He knew he needed to send out this fast SCV for an eBay block. He's going to find the cannoning probe with that. Bunker is now being thrown down here. Both of these depots most likely will end up falling. There's a spot here on the ramp which Harstem is abusing correctly, as yeah, he does know his tricks, of course. I'm not completely surprised by that, but yeah, it's a bad situation. 19 workers against 17. There's no factory on the way yet for Clem. His orbital command has finished though, so that means that right now every 64 seconds there's going to be 225 minerals mined for the French Terran player. Double depots will get taken out. That's not going to be enough though, of course. It's yeah, it's definitely still going to suck. Oh, Probe's gonna move up the ramp here. Oh, wants to see that. Look at that. Providing a little bit of extra vision to attack that bunker right there. That's a cute little move out of Harstem. Very clever. Just adapting to a very bad situation, because let's face it, this is a very bad situation. He's adapting quite well for how bad this started. I mean, both depots being taken out. Now with this pylon, this is a brilliant play out of the Dutch protoss player. I'm not surprised people call him the brain from the Netherlands. Yeah, wow. Look at that. That's absolutely brilliant. These, yeah, barracks need to lift right now. We get a cancel on the pylon. Beautiful plays. Ridiculous. How can one man be so smart? Clem, on the other hand, struggling. Actually going to get a later natural base than Harstem. It's also not in position. We still have these two cannons here. Probe wants to poke up. Sees that there's indeed two of these bad boys. This probe gets sent out. Clem doesn't quite spot it, which is interesting. Said the Reaper will just go straight away in towards the main base. Starts fighting workers. Wouldn't surprise me if 2 or 3 workers will end up falling. This adept is still a little bit away from finishing up. 2 workers have indeed gone down. 3rd worker will fall. Only 2 workers by this Reaper though. The other one was across the map, obviously. A bit of mining time lost. And this is a bad situation here for Harstem, who's not even going to be capable of getting that Reaper. So will be left behind empty-handed. Can he get one of these Marines? Can he get one of them? Ooh, 1, 2, 3. And Harstem is going to end up losing this probe as well. Very unfortunate, but that is the way it is. Some things will never change. A interesting early game here, honestly. I hadn't quite seen a build like this before against Terran done on this map. I think it took a lot of creativity out of Harstem to come up with this. I just like to compliment him for always, you know, bringing his A game into these matches and just showing what Protoss really is capable of, like showing the full palette. The full palette. Palette. That's the French way of pronouncing palette. The full palette of Protoss build orders that there are. And yeah, I just believe that sometimes people kind of forget about, you know, just shouting out Harstem as well when it comes to that. Just showing that many different build orders. So, you know, credit given where credit is due. Fantastic play. Alright, what do we have as our follow-up here? We have a Viking being produced before the Phoenix. This is also known as the preemptive Viking. Because I just made it up. Because this has never happened before in the world of StarCraft. Like, this is the first time ever that a Viking finishes quicker than the Phoenix. It's not a thing. It doesn't happen, but it happened. So, yeah, make of that what you will. Preemptive Viking, preemptive Cyclone. That's a little bit more common. Follow-up is going to be a robotics facility. Now, I am not too impressed usually by Harstem's mid or Harstem's late game when it comes to this matchup, especially when he is behind. He mightily struggles in those areas of the game where, yes, he's good at being greedy or being cheesy in the early game, but when, you know, he needs to step up or step down, very often he is nowhere to be found. Or, well, just stepping down most of the time. Scouts the fact that there's triple barracks already. I mean, this is just an awful... This is the worst thing. I can't even begin to imagine what Harstem is feeling like right now. Like, putting myself in his shoes, I'd be feeling awful. Like, just awful. You know, you're up like maybe 1 or 2 workers max, but you're getting outmined massively because of the mules. I bet he's happy that he has a forge, but that's about it. The robo-base is going to be super late as well, of course. Usually a robo-base starts at like, what, 4:35? That's late already for a robo-base after Phoenixes. But here, robo-base starts at 5:50. 5:45. Awful stuff, awful stuff. Viking is going to get taken out. And there's some good Phoenix control here coming out of the Harstem man. Ooh, maybe he's going to get another Marine as well. Yes. Very perceptive play from the Dutch protoss player. Could start looking at a third base perhaps. Are we going to go for a line? Are we going to go for a triangle? Looks to me like it's going to be a line base. No third CC yet here for Clem. And if this game stabilizes, then... I mean... anything is possible in this matchup, of course, the moment the disruptors are out. I know Clem has good control against that, but you don't pay attention for a millisecond, and boom! Army explodes. Sentry gets warped in there, somewhat confusing. Not a super significant supply block, but still painful because there was a chrono boost going down as well. Clem behind this, going very hard on the unit production, which is interesting in a way. Very interesting even, in my opinion, because... there's no third base for Harstem, but there's also no third base here for Clem. That means that the game stabilizes, it evens out, and that's the one thing that, in my opinion, as Clem, you wouldn't really want. Clem is going to pop in here and see, hey, there's no third. That's cool. That's interesting. Is this Marine going to get picked up? Yes, it is indeed going to get picked up. This Medevac is taking a little bit of damage. Clem is going in with the scan. It's like, hey, I really need to know that. He probably believed there was going to be like a Colossus on top of that ramp or something along them lines. This Observer is proving to be super useful for our Dutch protoss player. While the French Terran over here maybe wants to consider setting up some type of drop. Yeah, I like this. I would have not minded if the drop would have gone towards the left side. Just because of how the early game went. You know that vision is going to be a problem for Harstem. There's not a lot of spare cash in these type of scenarios. Barracks 4 and 5 on the way as well here for Clem. Still worker count very, very close. And this actually is an issue for Harstem. Can we just pay some attention to that? Like the fact that this worker count is so close is an actual problem. Phoenixes are kind of patrolling on the left side as well. I like how high he's going in the Phoenix count. Almost feels like he wants to go in some type of... I almost don't want to say, but some type of carrier play after this. Like Phoenix carrier wouldn't shock me. I mean, we have no upgrades, no +1. We also have no +1 here and no second Stargate, which surely with the 200 gas could be getting constructed right now. And with the complete stop, okay, here we see it. Yeah, +1 air weapons. I kind of expected this already. I can say, yeah, I can feel it coming. And now we have that Phoenix Rush. It almost felt like Harstem didn't quite know what he wanted to follow this up with either. Ooh, he's going to snipe a couple of these Vikings, which is big. Gets 1, almost gets 2, but not quite. We'll end up maybe getting, well, 1 or 2 more Marauders. Yeah, Phoenixes get to go back home. Game has largely stabilized right now. Gas 5 and 6 on the way for Harstem. Clem still, I think, in a lead, just purely based on that income, based on that money. And usually I'd say having better income than a Protoss that is stable isn't that big of a deal. But given that Harstem is trying to go into carriers here, having a lot of money and getting into a faster third base than your opponent allows you to really up that Viking production. That's exactly what we're seeing here out of Clem. Harstem also not sitting still though, is saying, hey, I need to do something here about this economy issue that I have. I am going to get a fast forward nexus. I kind of like that. I think that is a good call. I mean, what else can you really do with the minerals is always the question, of course. You're being limited completely by gas with this type of setup. I mean, Phoenixes are expensive in gas, Colossus, Disruptors all cost a lot of gas. Same with carriers, cost a lot of gas. Upgrades cost a lot of gas. So the one resource you're going to be floating is minerals, and you want to invest it into cannons. You want to end up investing that into things like a Nexus, perhaps. Batteries as well, of course, are definitely a very valid choice. But we'll have to wait and see what's going to be possible here. Ooh, one Viking gets taken out and the Phoenix stays alive. Well, for how much longer? Poof! 2 Phoenix get taken out by a single mine there. That bad boy, if I were Clem, I'd retire him. Say, alright, my friend, you've done well. It's time to go home. You don't need to be here no more. 2 Phoenixes, that's more than your average mine, that's for sure. This is an elite mine. He'd be like an admiral or something, an admiral mine. If there's different ranks in mines, I'd make him an admiral. Beautiful vision, look at this. Johnny Cash sang about the Ring of Fire, and Harstem talks about the Ring of Vision often on his YouTube channel. We're kind of seeing that here. Beautiful stuff, look at that. Entire Ring of Vision. He's just missing this little area, but it's not that important because Clem is not going to drop into this. Maybe these rocks are an issue, but it's obvious right now, I think, for both players that the main rotation is going to be from this general area over towards this side, or perhaps towards the middle. So these are the areas of attention for the Dutch Protoss player, who still is up in the air unit count. Important to note, very important to note even, is that fact that he is up in that air unit count, because it allows him to easily hold these positions. Oh my god, there's range on the Phoenixes finishing just now. Any impulse crystal, such a useful upgrade to have in these type of scenarios. Clem's Viking control is by far the best, at least in Europe. I think Maru might have better Viking control in these scenarios. Hello, Harstem. There's no minerals over here, sir. Oh, an idiot. Maybe he thinks these rocks are minerals. Not... There's Protoss players, am I right? I wonder what the plan is with this Nexus. Surely there's not some secret trick that Harstem is going to be using with that Nexus that no one has ever done before. That sounds very unlikely. We do have some steel air weapons on the way as well. A couple of disruptor zoning shots. Good moves here from the Dutch Protoss all around. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Colossus is... oh, I like this defense so much. Harstem spotting that this is pure Marine and says, hey, you know what Marines suck against? And then boom, sends a Colossus over. And I mean, Colossus just absolutely roast Marines, of course. That is Protoss 101 right there, my friends. Batteries being thrown down in this area. I'm actually kind of starting to like that. Because this is a weak area. And Clem eventually wants to move in here, maybe, like after he takes down these rocks, because everything else is completely bunkered up. So this is great. Harstem is spotting a weakness in his defense and says, hey, I can plug that hole here by just putting a Nexus there, getting super batteries available, maybe even allowing like a weird type of recall in the future. That would be sick to see. But maybe there's also another thing that Harstem wants to do with this. We'll have to wait and see if there is a secret trick that he might want to use. Of course, we don't know about that. A couple of Vikings are going to get taken out here. Yeah. 9 Vikings have gone down, 6 Phoenix have gone down, 1 Colossus has gone down. A Colossus is not as important, although against 29 Marines, might want to keep at least 1 alive, right? It is good to have. It really is. Oh, this Colossus, what are you doing, buddy? Ah, good, sir. You might not want to end up going there. Yeah, Phoenix is just going to get 1 shot here. It's an issue. Oh my god, Harstem! You genius, what is this? He's attacking his own Nexus with the carriers to get the interceptors out. And moving them in between the 2 Nexi. So that he can immediately start fighting the Vikings. And look at this fight! This is going way better than any previous fights. Clem getting caught completely off guard. What a brilliant invention by Harstem. Or well, by Harstem. I bet his teammate Lambo had something to do with this. The real brain behind the operation. I don't think Harstem would be capable of coming up with something like this himself, of course. He might have asked Lambo for some advice, and then Lambo gave him that advice. Attacking his own Nexus. That is something that I personally find a plausible explanation. But then again, I'm not too close with either player, so I'm not going to be capable of asking. That's a beautiful move. I love that. That is just showboating. That is just beautiful stuff. Beautiful. I love that so much. Great move. 5th base is going to get taken here for Harstem, and the work counts are pretty even. Okay, here we go again. Same trick being used. Interceptors moving over right now. All of the interceptors are out at the start of the fight. Where are the disruptors, Harstem? You slowpoke, you absolute turtle of a person. Not in time there, but Phoenixes are chasing. Now, Interceptors aren't out anymore. Not so sure if Harstem still wants to be out on the map right here. I think getting extra Phoenix should perhaps be a priority at this point, because the Phoenix count is so low. This surely is not a correct move. That surely was not a correct move. Oh, where did those come from? Probably attacking the Nexus once more. Immediately see a lot of Vikings go down. Man, this trick is really paying dividends here for Harstem. I wonder if he practiced this in a unit tester map or something like that, or if he, you know, he just thought of it himself or one of his teammates. Yeah, it's difficult to say all these things. Sometimes I just wish that, you know, we could get some insight in the mind of a pro player like that. But sadly, most pro players are rather antisocial, so you don't really get the ins and outs from them. They want to keep their tricks secret. Glad I got my hands on this replay, though. I found it on the USB that I got from a trash can around the corner. Wondering what I was doing there. Seems like a weird fight. Mothership is going to get taken out here for free. One of the carriers gets sniped as well. Attacking the rocks to get the interceptors out. Immediately starts targeting down more and more Vikings, but the Viking target fire is also very good. 7 carriers remaining. 13 Vikings at the same time. Disruptors, Marines in the back. Not going to get hit here. This was a very good fight for Clem, our French Terran player, who has good upgrades, has 9 Vikings, 21 Marines, and starts with a triple drop towards the main base, right in vision of Harstem. Although I'm not so sure if Harstem actually spotted that. Uh-oh. I don't think he did, despite having full vision. No, he's too... Oh, poof! Big hits there. Huge hits even. Going to get the hit there on that bio army at the same time. Okay, now we see a response coming out of Harstem. I don't think this drop is going to be super successful, though. Phoenix are going to be in position with the +3 air weapons. Carriers are going to start moving in as well. There's one very low carrier. Harstem needs to be very careful with this. Clem can snipe it down potentially. Clem knows that he can never leave this base, so yeah, no real point in trying to fight, you know, trying to fight the carriers and trying to run away, perhaps. Yeah. Bottom base might get taken out here. Oh, actually, will it get taken out? What is this fight here? Clem. Whoa. A lot of Vikings landed and also kind of got blasted. We have some resumed Phoenix production here. There's a lot of gas in the bank right now for Harstem. Didn't used to be the case. He's coming to a low worker count, though. Losing that 5th base is painful. So, despite this drop not actually dealing damage, because of the drop, damage was dealt. So, indirect damage. A consequence of the drop is that Harstem was out of position. He could have recalled, but he probably felt it was too risky. How many starports do we have for Clem? We have 5. Are any of them naked? Yeah, we have two naked starports and triple reactor starports. That is big production, though. That is really, really big production. And Harstem just can't quite compete with that. Unit loss step or resources lost is going to be 19k against 17k. That is kind of wild. That is actually kind of wild. I'm trying to move in. No medevacs at all with this army, by the way. Oh, takes out the Nexus. Surely not a mistake. Planned as well. Disruptors are being used here for zoning, but also for scouting. Don't forget Purification Nova also gives some vision. Salad being warped in most likely is going to move to create some vision once again here for Harstem, as one of the observers is going to move towards this area to figure out what's kicking off, actually. Now, there's a lot of Vikings. We have 35 Vikings, we have 10 Phoenixes, 11 carriers. Harstem going for full turtle mode right now. One carrier gets blasted here, as I can't really see how many Vikings get taken out, because you have constant reproduction of Vikings as well. I think Clem might have just lost 1 or 2 in that fight. Wouldn't completely surprise me. Disruptors are going to zone this. I think a good move that Harstem could do here is just hide behind the cannons, then throw disruptor shots on the way. So nuke is going down. Let's take a look at the first person here. Harstem is looking where that dot is. Can't seem to find the red dot. Okay, I think now he just spotted it. Does he pull away? Does he pull away from that base here? No. Doesn't pull anything away. He's only going to lose 2 workers. Was mainly aimed at the cannons. And now we have this move forward here. Disruptor still being close. There's 11 Phoenixes. There's 12 carriers as well. Look at these Vikings go. They're so ridiculous. Oh, Vikings. You so silly. Scan forward. Can we get some movement? Can we get some movement? I feel like Tempest might not be bad. Or even just getting a couple of Stalkers here to zone would be good. Just zoning these bad boys out, right? So many Vikings here. That's awful stuff. Awful stuff. Oh, here we go. What's that? I have no clue what that was, but I like it. I want more of that. Clem wanting to move in here. Now, the reason why Clem is so far on the map is because he probably wants to trade on Harstem's side. I'm loving these little turret farms as well. So, right now, the only way Harstem is going to win is with a very big amount of army supply, taking one fight and then straight up running into the production of his opponent. And Clem wants to stop that by building turret farms and by fighting on his opponent's side of the map. If he can fight on his opponent's side of the map, take out 5-6 carriers and lose some Vikings, he can reproduce those Vikings and move back to the turret farm. The turret farm is one of the most important tools that Clem has. He doesn't quite have enough turrets though. Here come a lot of the Phoenixes jumping on top of these Vikings immediately. A couple of these Vikings actually do end up getting taken out. Clem is being careful, but maybe not careful enough. 22 Phoenixes against 31 Vikings. Oh, these carriers are a little bit exposed. But at the same time, these Vikings also going down at a very high pace. 7 new ones being produced at a time and plenty of cash in the bank though. Harstem needs to up the tempo a little bit if he actually wants to be successful in this endeavor. And so far, well, he probably wants to be successful in this endeavor, but so far doesn't quite seem like it's working. Here comes a fight, perhaps. Here comes a fight. Here we go. How many Vikings is this? Well, not all that many anymore. There's still 10 carriers left and 15 Phoenixes. More Phoenixes are being produced behind this. Harstem is going to start moving forward as well right now. No Guardian Shield being used. There is energy available, but we're not quite seeing it. Disruptors trying to get the balls off. As this base is going to get taken out. More and more of these Vikings actually will end up falling. And Phoenixes are jumping on top of the Vikings. There's 17 Vikings remaining right now. And still 11 Phoenixes. Look at this. All of these Vikings are going to get taken out. The Phoenix count is dwindling as well. But still 9 carriers. Ooh, lots of units over here. Perhaps these Disruptors need to be very careful. They could potentially get sniped here. Needs to be sure to zone out this army. Once the Ghost get to the shooting interceptors, that could be bad. Big EMP is going to hit. 3-4 Disruptor shots coming off. Not a single one hitting. Now we see a couple of EMPs, I think, hitting those interceptors as well. At the same time, more and more Vikings coming in. Still 17 Vikings here. GG gets called. Clem wins this game after 22 minutes of carriers pain. Starting with a cannon rush. Harstem is going to get blasted over here. Well, fantastic game, but yeah, hate to see the Dutchie lose once more. Better luck next time for him. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.